Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. I am Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me. So we all know the situation in Texas and how that Governor Abbott, Gregory Abbott, is going all out by trying to protect his borders from tons of illegal aliens coming over there. I mean, this is just ridiculous. But what's interesting here is that former President Donald Trump, on his Truth Social platform, basically supports Governor Abbott and other governors, I think like 25 of them that are backing Governor Abbott, in calling the National Guard to protect his state from this influx of illegal aliens coming into their state. So this is absolutely crazy how all of this stuff is going on. I mean, these amount of illegals coming over here is absolutely insane. So let's get right into this article from Breitbart News, and let's see what it has to say here about this, because this is just crazy, man. It says, former President Donald Trump called on governors to use their National Guard soldiers to remove migrants back across the border. His post on Truth Social follows statements from 25 Republican governors supporting the state of Texas standoff against the Biden administration in Shelby Park. We encourage all willing states to deploy their guards to Texas to prevent the entry of illegals and to remove them back across the border, President Trump wrote. All Americans should support the common sense measures by Texas authorities to protect the safety, security, and sovereignty of Texas and of the American people. And he's absolutely right about that. Regardless of what people feel or think or like, whether they like him or not, doesn't make a difference. This is true. In part one of his post, Trump wrote, quote, "In the face of this national security, public safety, and public health catastrophe, Texas has rightly invoked the invasion clause of the Constitution and must be given full support to repel the invasion." The former president's comments came on the day 25 Republican governors from Alaska to Florida, New Hampshire to Nevada issued statements of support for Texas and Governor Greg Abbott's mission to secure the state's southern border. He's doing it. And if Greg Abbott needs more razor wire, I'll load it into a pickup myself, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem told Fox News Thursday night. Wow. On Tuesday, the Department of Homeland Security sent a second demand letter to Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton demanding the state allow full unimpeded access to Shelby Park in Eagle Pass. Breitbart's Texas Randy Clark reported. The Texas Military Department seized the park earlier this month and expelled the Border Patrol agents other than those launching boats into the Rio Grande. By January 26, 2024, please confirm that the state will provide U.S. Border Patrol with the access described above. DHS General Counsel Jonathan E. Meyer wrote in the letter to Paxton, if the state refuses to request access in part but not in whole, please specify what access you intend to deny. Yeah, this is crazy, man. As the deadline approached, Abbott is standing fast on the state's control of Shelby Park and the small section of the Rio Grande border with Mexico. Texas has a constitutional right to defend and protect itself, Abbott told Fox News. We will continue to hold the line. Since the new fiscal year began on October 1st, 2023, Border Patrol agents apprehended more than 460,000 migrants who illegally crossed the border between ports of entry into the 5 Texas-based sectors, according to unofficial Border Patrol reports reviewed by Breitbart Texas. And that is the end of that article right there. I'm excited about this. I was reading another watching another conservative YouTuber, and she was really excited about it as well. I mean, she was really excited about it as well. She's former military, so she was extremely excited about it. I want to give her name here, but I don't want to be too, revealing here. But she's excited about it. I'm excited about it. This is what needs to be done to fight this type of stuff going on. I mean, states need to band together and stop this tyranny, because essentially that's what it is. Under the Biden, how can anyone support the Biden administration? How can anyone support the Biden administration? Since this man has been in office, what has he done good for normal working people? I'm not talking about the LGBTQ LMNOP community. I'm not talking about them. Of course he's did a ton of work for them, protecting them and everything else. Of course he did. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the regular Americans. I'm talking about the masses of regular 9-to-5 workers in this doggone country. What has the Biden administration really done for them that they can say, man, thank God for the Biden administration and what they have done for me? The only people who would support the Biden administration, and I'm just going to say it, okay? You might not like it, but I'm just going to say it, are people that are still living in the matrix. They're still blind. They don't want to admit that the man that they voted for is an absolute total failure to this country, and every American, whether you Democrat or Republican, the Biden administration has failed this country. And in fact, I was reading somewhere that before he got in office, as he was campaigning, if you want to call it campaigning, he essentially stated to the radical left, the activist groups that wanted to put this man in anyway, that I'm going to be the most liberal president of all. I'm going to be the most liberal president out there, he said. And he has to some extent fulfilled his role as saying he's going to be the most liberal president. Now, a lot of these radical activists, leftist activist groups are mad at him because he hasn't completely fulfilled it. He hasn't created the communist government that these nutbags really want. Okay. But in some sense of the word, he has. And these illegals being allowed to come over here, I was reading somewhere, hearing somewhere, it's like in the hundreds of thousands or millions since Biden has been in office. There is no justification for that at all. And Gregory Abbott is justified in doing what he's doing. It would be well nigh impossible to disagree with what he's doing. Some people going to disagree with it. Well, why is he doing it? Look, man, look. That's just like if you have a house, okay, and you know where I'm going with this. You have a house, you're paying rent, or you're paying the mortgage, you're buying all the food, you're paying all the bills, okay, and then all of these people start coming into your place unannounced to you. You go to work, you come back, all you see is a bunch of people that are not even supposed to be on your property or on your property trying to get in your house. And you have your house, you have it, your doors and stuff locked, but they're standing outside trying to get inside your house. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? A common sense person would say, get off of my land. Okay, and here's the case of killing thing. Let me add something to it. And they start demanding you to let them in. You're obligated to let them in. Really? Do you think you're going to do that? Any sensible person would say no. Same principle. We can't hold all of these people. We can't hold them. Okay? We can't hold all of these. These are illegals. They're not people coming over here legally. They're illegals from all parts of the world, not just from Mexico. Okay? They're from all parts of the world. And I've seen pictures of these illegals, and a lot of these illegals that's coming over here do not look like they're poor. They don't look like it at all. And what I think is going to happen eventually, and I said this before, but I'll say it again. What I think is going to happen eventually is that if the borders stay open like this, because Biden is not going to do anything. He's a zombie. Okay? This man is terrible. His administration is terrible, rather. He's a zombie. If this continues on, these illegals coming over here, unguarded, unmitigated, if they continue to do so, there is going to be a war inside here. There's going to be a war in these cities and states between native-born Americans and illegals. Now, whether that's planned or not, I can't say. But that's eventually what's going to end up happening. Forget about a civil war against the right and the left. We're talking about an added war of native-born Americans or Americans by far waging war rather against those that have come over to this country illegally. That's what's probably going to end up happening. We see bits and pieces of it, in Chicago and places like New York. We see bits and pieces of it. We see the gas being poured on a fire, rather. We see that. Now, what happens if it's spread all over the country? Going to be hell. That's what it's going to be. And like I said, I can't say if this is planned or not, but I can tell you one thing, that's what's going to end up happening if it's not stopped. Trump 2024. Now, let me say this. On a spiritual level, I know that it's God himself that has to transform this country. I know that. So those of us that are saved, and those that are spiritual, we know we need to pray because it's a spiritual battle. It's for the spiritual foundation of our country. We know that. But on a purely physical level, we have to put certain parameters in place to restrain destruction. And you don't have to be spiritual to know that. And that's what the Biden administration is not doing. Okay? So hurrah for Mr. Abbott. Hurrah for him. He's doing the right thing. As Trump said in his Truth Social comment section, he's initiating the protective clause in his Constitution. Look, I have a right to defend my state, and that's what I'm doing. And from what I was hearing somewhere, someone was saying somewhere along the line that Biden has allowed the border, I guess, the Homeland Security or whatever, to clip the fence, to cut the wire down from the fence and something. I mean, just real sick, evil stuff. How could you justify that at all? How can anyone justify that? We could argue where they're trying to get another voting base. But that shows you how weak the Democratic Party is, right? Because if the Democratic Party is so weak and so desperate that they're willing to go to these extremes to do so, then that shows you just how weak and desperate they actually are. So my thing is, why would anyone vote for a political party that's so desperate to get voters that they're willing to allow hundreds of thousands of illegals to flood their country? And why would you even bother? Why would you even bother? This is going to, in my opinion, create a war inside our borders, because American people, and it's just my opinion, I'm not inciting it clearly, but that's what's going to end up happening, because a lot of Americans are not going to put up with it. You got these illegals coming over here, they're taking over the jobs, they're taking over all these benefits that the Biden administration wants to give to the illegals. A lot of that stuff should be going to people that have been here, that have worked all their life. They can't get the benefits because they're giving them to the illegals. Really? You think that's going to run well over people that's native born here? You think they're going to like that? You think they're going to want that? You know, I was hearing somewhere, some brain dead person here in America talking about something, well, yeah, good for the illegals, good. Somebody must have paid this person tons of money to say the dumb, ignorant things that they said about hurrah, hurrah, hurrah for illegals coming over here. That would be easy for you to say when everything is cool for you, but when they start coming in your backyard, the person that said that, when they start coming in your backyard and taking your goods, all that money that the establishment gave you, if they gave you money to say that nonsense, is going to run out. And when the illegals start taking your goods, then what are you going to say? When they start taking your jobs, if you want to work, then what are you going to say? When they start taking your welfare benefits, then what are you going to say? What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Bottom line, period. I'm just saying. So that's what I had to say about that. Once again, right on for Governor Gregory Abbott. Right on, bro. You do what you need to do. I do it too. So what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all and see you again.